Alright, so I wanted to show some basic adjustments that you can use in Lightroom. Just showing you the differences are with on the basic tab over here on the right. So the exposure is the massive one for changing the brightness and darkness of a photo. And usually the camera gets in the middle, and sometimes you don't know what to do. Sometimes what you need to do is just put on the subject of the color, the brightness is. And sometimes with white, especially like for example this water, it can be kind of hard to get the right detail, because if you go a little bit darker you get more detail. The other, everything else gets kind of too dark to see, so sometimes you just try to get the right amount. Contrast gives the difference between the hard edges between things, giving it a harder light between. When you put it away, it gets more foggy. So in this area, with this long exposure with all this water in the air, it helps to put the contrast a little bit dark. If you go too far though, then you get things like some areas that just get too dark and you can't see. So it's just a little bit, just enough to be able to get some details to kind of pop out. Highlights and shadows are kind of a two-pronged approach. One's for the brightness areas of the image, and the shadows are for the darker parts. And that's kind of helpful for showing blown out areas. And this is really helpful for images that use in RAW. And that helps recover a lot of data. And a lot of these dials you kind of use to compensate, because for example, if you were using that contrast, you can be able to bring some of that detail of the rocks together. It's just enough to get some detail. And then the white balance and not the white balance up here, but the white and black are for levels, edges. So when you take a look at this histogram up here, you're looking to see if there's any clipping, and you're trying to recover any of that kind of information. They're very similar to the highlights and shadows, but they're not quite as delicate. So it's just to try to get where you want set the main histogram to be at the edges. And then this little white dropper is able to help you get like a proper white balance. Sometimes it's really great for gray or whites, and if you're able to pull that detail together. Sometimes you just can't really get a clear, and you're just kind of guessing, but I'm kind of wanting to favor a little bit cool with the water to get that kind of a different kind of mood. You can kind of sometimes you want to go warmer, but it kind of depends on the way you want. And just a little bit, because if you go too far, like anything, it just doesn't look real. It looks kind of hokey. Now down here on the other preferences, you have clarity for, it's a micro adjust of contrast at a smaller level. And when you do that, it's able to get a little bit of sharpness detail. And sometimes you can notice that really if you zoom in at like 100% it's this, you're able to see a lot more. Now, the vibrance and the saturation are kind of a two-pronged, similar thing, but they work for different things. Saturation is for all colors, while you take it away, it turns black and white. Well, vibrance, what it does is it only does for the cool colors. So this is really helpful if you just want to ignore the orangey, yellow, warm colors, and you just want to saturate a specific wavelength of light. So there you go. These are all the basic modes for working in Lightroom. Hope you find that helpful.